Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Thirsty Thursday live stream. And today we have a awesome guest, as always, and it's another first of the year or first stream of this year, which we had John Hammond here last year. And we're just going to talk about some cool stuff, some exciting stuff that's happening for 2025, and some other cool things. So let's bring him in, and I'm sure you guys know who he is. So we'll just have him introduce himself if anyone's living under a rock. But oh my God, this thing again.
I'm tiny. Hey. I'm small in the corner.
Yeah. I'm just still getting used to this new restream.
Oh, so goodness gracious. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me join you, Pat. Happy to be here.
Likewise. It's always a pleasure. And I'm glad to, have you on for the first Thirsty Thursday 2025. And my thing is going crazy. My battery backup, I don't know if you can hear it, but
I was wondering, it's like, is that a smoke alarm? Is that a fire alarm? Are you good? But
yeah, let me. I think because I'm running a few VMs and my computer's probably like going bonkers. I was trying to. So another a little goal of mine for 2025 is to get more involved with the HackTheBox community, and it was something I led off in 2024. I did a couple of certifications, but really active on it, I wasn't. So I'm like, okay, I want to become a pro hacker. Like that's a goal. I have the hacker rank, but I'm like, let me go a pro hacker. Let's see if I can do that. But yeah, so obviously tonight is all about, just hacking training and just shooting a smack like always. So for those people that don't know what just hacking training is, like, can you just give a little bit of what that is and what is your plan with it?
Oh, cool. Well, hey, thank you so much. Super grateful because, look, I've been putting out YouTube content and videos and trying to share a whole lot of like cybersecurity education and awareness for a gosh darn long time now. I think if you look back in the old archives, you could find videos even on my channel that go back to 2011. There's a fun fact. There's even an older channel that has stuff from 2009. But that has kind of always just been my growth and my interests and stuff that I enjoy and the passions that I like and stuff that I kind of want to chase, stuff that I think is cool and fun and neat. So it's been neat to see that, I hope, grow between the trajectory of like, programming tutorials and then, software and CVEs and CTFs, capture the flag, vulnerabilities and exploits and threat actors, actual malware campaigns, the dark web, maybe a little bit of like game hacking in the mix or some scammer stuff, scam baiting. Like I have fun just kind of exploring, but I've always kind of had that ethos that, hey, that stuff should be free. Like, and whenever I can put something out, I try my darndest to make it accessible, name your price training or make it free or making some way that it's available to anyone regardless of a price tag or a budget. But for a long time, some folks have been asking like, hey, John, are you going to put out any courses? When are you going to make a course? Can you make a course on ethical hacking? Can you make a course on CTFs? Can you make a course on blah, 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 blah? And this was a long time ago, and I've kind of always just put it off. And because I've always felt not particularly worthy, really. I've also felt courses sometimes can get a little bit cringy and weird, discount code, coupon shill crap. So I just have always struggled with that. But I'm realizing like, look, I'm at the point where I'm having so much fun with YouTube stuff that is its own machine, its own vessel, and a monster on its own. So I can't even just dispense time into making some other things. So I schemed up and we got together with a really cool, incredible group of folks. And it's still building like really a cadre or a cohort to make out what would be just hacking training. And that was the cheesy, cutesy name for it. Make that schoolhouse, make some courses, make education, exercise, and activities, for one thing, affordable, for one thing, bite-sized and digestible, and hopefully solve that equation when folks are asking, hey, where can we have stuff like this? So it's not all me, it is other folks. And with that, like, I have to make sure they are compensated and actually have incentive and are adding the value that they get and getting values that they need too. So I think, there's an interesting balance of making this thing sustainable, not just for me, but for other people, and still making it broad and accessible and hopefully approachable for other folks just as well. So holy crap, sorry, I've been rambling, long-winded thing to say. Yeah, training, just hacking training right now at justhacking.com. So labor of love.
Yeah, awesome. And I wanted to ask, and I was waiting, I didn't want to ask you via text, and I want to ask this live. because it's your initials, right? JHT. Did you think about it as JH for your initials as well?
You can't tell anyone, Pat. No one can know this. No one's supposed to realize that JH aligns no matter what way you do it.
Exactly.
No one can know.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that was a coincidence or planned. But that's super sick.
Thank you. I mean, it's always if I never, I hold myself back on like, becoming some thing beyond just my name and John Hammond, and the YouTube channel is called John Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
But if I die, if I get hit by a bus, I don't want to be the single standalone thing for that work, that world, that all the stuff that we, and even now as a team, can do. It's really weird when you talk about creator-led businesses or creator-led companies, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I acknowledge, we've done so much, whether it's hosting capture the flag competitions, whether it's like consulting for, here's a pen test, or, let's do some detection engineering, response, instant response, blah, blah, blah. Like there's consulting, there's games and labs, and there's courses, and there's media. What if we had what was JH Discord, JHD was kind of the original strain. JHD for just hacking training, maybe JHG for just hacking games. Maybe, I don't know. It's fun to noodle on that, but it is all just in my head so far.
Yeah, no, I think it's super dope. And I think, it's catchy, even if you look at the initials, it's like, okay, it's John Hammond Training. Oh, just hacking training. You know what I mean? So it's like, it can be utilized or thought in both perspectives. So I think that's really cool. And that's awesome. And yeah, I'm a firm believer in that as well. And I want to touch on that because I think, relatively cheap training or super cheap or free. And I was all about that. And same thing coming up, right? Like going into the world of Microsoft and Cisco. And I'm like, I'm going to go download ISOs from CML or Cisco Modeling Labs, or get it from, GNS3 or EVE-NG. When I was studying for Cisco and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to pay for this. I'm just going to go torrent them, or I want to go do whatever I need to do to get these ISOs or these images. And then it's like, at the end of the day, and then it goes to like fast forwarding now, right? It's like, that's why I started YouTube. I was like, I didn't expect this even to, I'm a guppy in the sea compared to yourself or compared to other folks. And now it's like, how do we deal with, I wanted to segue into what we was talking about offline, is like, how do we, free, and, we get, I get criticized on the internet, the Pirate Bay train. Yeah. Like about like trolls or people like that on the internet that sometimes it's like, I'm not really affected by it in the sense of like, I don't give two craps because they're in their life and they're probably just kicking rocks and not ambitious. But some of the comments and the trolls can get to you if they trigger a trigger point. Because obviously going to your Wild West HackerFest, seeing you out there doing your presentation and, harping on that. How do you, someone at such a large scale, and I don't know, you probably ignore a lot of them, but I'm sure some catch your eye. How does someone like yourself deal with that?
Ooh. Super good question. And I don't know if I particularly have a good answer. I'll get stuck up. I'll get wrapped around the axle when a YouTube comment or when something will just kind of trigger me. And I think I like to hope that I'm very good at not engaging. Like I will not interact with that because I don't like to consider myself either a confrontational guy or anything. I also just, I don't know, I try to be courteous, whatever. Yeah. I will vent, I will whine and complain to my loving dear girlfriend who helps support me. But I try not to just put it out on Twitter, though I will do sometimes. I will publicly blast and be like, no, this is stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah. I made a big oopsie today. Today's video was on Godot and malware that was created from the Godot game engine. And I think what I chose for the title was not what folks particularly wanted. And I kind of got raked over the coals for that. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I appreciate the constructive criticism and the feedback. We'll change it. We'll change it to whatever you want. And I don't know. I'm still those are things that will sort of set me off, and I will also, fall down the rabbit hole there. So how do we deal with it? I don't really know. I tried for a little bit some time ago. I was like, I don't even want to look at comments. I'm not going to look at the YouTube videos anymore. I'm just going to post them, and that's going to be it. And I've started to do that. But when I go take a peek, go see how a video is doing, and I see one, I'm like, oh crap, people hate me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's the same thing, right? Like sometimes I just set it and forget it. I'll just put the video out, and for those folks that try to dog on me, I have to accept your comment. You can't just post the thing and I have to accept it for it to even show up. Like if you said, "Hey Pat, you're an asshole," it won't go up there until. So if you're ever out there and you want to troll me and be a dick on YouTube, no one's going to see it until, if it's something like that, you're going to get deleted anyway. So there was a couple, the same person. I'm, out of respect, even though you're a scumbag, I'll keep your name anonymous. But like the person was just like dogging on me. I'm like, dude, you don't get the point. You've been doing this for 3 months. It's like it never showed up. So don't you get? Are you retarded? But so it's just interesting, like. How people deal with it. And sometimes so I interacted with, with a troll or whatever. I don't know who I have an idea on Reddit because, like Tiberius or yourself, and I think Heath Adams put that thing up about all the influencers or the content creators. Remember that little thing on Reddit, that little, that troll thing?
That was crazy.
Yeah. So a friend of mine sent it over. He's like, "Oh, Pat, like your name is on there." I'm like, "Me? What the fuck is someone saying?" That had like three things. Like one was like, I guess I was in good graces with two of them. And then one said I'm a fraud. I'm like, elaborate, because fraud means, what does that even mean? And then, something about me. And I think I've had that out there. My personal life and my personal world, I don't put it out there. Everything that's out there is InfoSec Pat. Patrick Gorman, no one really knows about that world unless you're a loved one or if you're a close friend. And and the people out there just like, this person knows nothing. And I showed it to like two friends. I'm like, and I love John to death. I'm no John Hammond, but like I know a little bit about technology, right? So I was like, this kid has no idea what I'm capable of, man. Like I put what I want out there just for the people that think I'm retarded. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like weird. It's interesting talking to people and about the internet and how trolls, like, I'm not going to mention another name, but like other people got threatened. Have you ever got like death threats?
I don't think a death threat, probably some violence, probably some physical thing as just like braggadocio. People get brave behind a keyboard, man.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah. But never, I don't think a death threat, truth be told.
Good. Thank God. And I did get one. And it was really interesting because I'm not, you know me a little bit, right? We met a few times, and I'm a little different from the nerd community, to say the least, right? Like just, so I'm not, I love you, John. I'm not one of you guys, right? In that sense, right? Like so like what you say on the internet, I'm about that life. You know what I mean? So if like, you're going to come up. So like this person said, I want to come to your house and light it up, meaning I want to shoot up your house.
Jeez, I'm crow. Yeah.
And I showed a friend that, and I have ARs, I have gun, like I'm strapped up, So I'm like, oh man, these people are crazy. Like, and then I'm thinking, man, if this is me in the guppy scene, what about yourself and all these other folks that like, and I just want to segue into this and then I'll, pass it on to you, is like, do you ever get scared to go to conferences? like you're going to get jumped or punched in the head from the back, like someone's going to hate on you. And do you ever feel that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not for like a physical threat or any concern. There was very sweet one time at DEF CON, a goon had asked me like, yo, do you need me to like walk you somewhere so you don't get like stomped in the hallway and swarmed and like you can go to the bathroom in peace? And that was very sweet. That was very heartwarming. But I'm like, no, I don't need a bodyguard. Like, I make YouTube videos. I'm a dude. It's okay. But it's a blessing and a curse. But no, I haven't particularly gotten the spooks or concerns, at least in the InfoSec community proper. What I think when I've pissed off a lot of like threat actors or ransomware cyber criminal folks, those guys again will slew their profanities and vulgarities and whatever. But it's like, all right, man, cool. Like that's fine. You're just typing text into the void.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I always like to talk about that because it's always a concern of mine. Like, because, you know, like I said, I'm a guppy in the sea, and, you know, it's a different world, like yourself and like all these other people. And it's like, you know, haters are going to hate, but how far will they go? And, you know, there's some crazies out there, and it's like, I always just wondered, and I'm strapped everywhere I go. So,
well, hey man, don't discount yourself. You're not by no means a guppy. Folks know your name. You're doing great stuff and incredible work. So keep on at it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And so I guess like, so what else is on your list for 2025 and certifications? Like, you know, anything that's cooking in your world besides the just hacking training, anything else?
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts and anyone else's opinion, because I don't think I've particularly set like goals or New Year's resolutions or anything fancy or that. And I think I've found myself kind of in a groove, at least something that is working. Like I like and enjoy my day job at Huntress. I enjoy YouTube on the side, and I'm kind of rolling with the punches. So I'm thinking like, let's just keep doing what we're doing, but just do more of it. Just amp it up. Just like, hey, put jetpacks on this thing the best that we can. So have been trying to explore, hey, some other new ways to be able to do that. We got a newsletter kind of cooking up. We've got just hacking training cooking up. I'm still having fun with a lot of the video material itself. Like we just recently had a scam baiting video, or kind of the first little foray into that whole world. I would like to do more of that. I would like to revisit some of the game hacking. So it's just exploring, truth be told. It's just kind of, hey, trying some of the new things that I hope are exciting and fun. But even if they aren't, they are for me.
Exactly. And that's the most important thing. And I want to talk about, like, for those folks that are out there that want to do, you know, YouTube videos and all that stuff, like what to expect, right? Like, not, like you said, you have videos back from 2009 and we're in 2024. That's 15, 16 years ago. So it's like, it's not overnight success. But what would you recommend for those folks that are looking to get into any content creation, if it's making shorts on YouTube or on Instagram or Reels or whatever the hell these things are? Like, what would be your advice? Like, hey, I'm coming to John. I want to be like you when I grow up. What is your advice?
Oh, super good question. And again, probably a bad answer, but, or at least hard to formulate. I am, I think there's a lot of nuance. I started this thing, right, 15 years ago, and there was never any goal or intent or, hey, the thing, I want to make money. I want to be a YouTuber. I just going to be influencer. It was just, hey, I had fun. I like making CTF videos. I like showcasing stuff on my computer, and they thought it was cool. And that, I think, stockpiled over time just because I kept doing it. Not because there was some ulterior goal. It was just because it was fun. So even like throughout high school, throughout undergrad, throughout getting into the industry, throughout now where I am doing what I'm doing, it had stockpiled and grown. And there's a certain amount of luck into like, okay, cool. Now that it's at where it's at, yeah, there's new, weird, different things that kind of put pressure on you because now people are watching. And for better or for worse, like all the crazy horror stories that we were just kind of discussing, and still like, oh, super sweet, super fulfilling. Hey, you meet someone at a conference and like, hey, I really like your stuff. I'm grateful for what you do. You help me get my job. Like that is the stuff that moves the needle.
Likewise.
But I don't know if those are things to expect if anyone particularly wanted to do it. I would think, look, just make sure that it's something that you can do and you can keep doing, because you're kind of going to get bogged down and burnt out. We're like, oh, the numbers don't look like how I want them to look. Or like, no one is watching my video. Or like, oh, this video kind of sucks. I don't think I did a good job with it. Like, doesn't matter. Just keep spewing it out to the internet.
Yep.
Share your knowledge, share what you're learning, share what you're doing. Some way, somehow, someone, even if it's one person, will find that valuable, and then you made a difference. Not gonna lie. So.
Absolutely. And I feel the same. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, because I didn't even know what I wanted to do on YouTube. I think like InfoSec Pat just came about because I don't even know. I think it was like, I don't remember. I think I made it like twice or three times. I changed my name when I first started. And I just I just wanted to share on the things like system admin stuff, network admin stuff, some like cybersecurity stuff, and cool little videos like how to hack your neighbor's Wi-Fi and, silly stuff like that. Like, and I'm like, and don't get discouraged, because I remember literally I had like 20 subscribers. I think it was like 20 of my family members, right? So it was like I put a video out. It got deleted in like 10 seconds because it was showcasing how to hack, using Wi-Fi and how to hack. It was like using Wi-Fi. No, sorry, I'm lying. It was Wi-Fi Pumpkin. So you ever use Wi-Fi Pumpkin? It's a tool.
Is it the Wi-Fi Pineapple or
no? The Wi-Fi Pineapple is like the physical device. Wi-Fi Pumpkin is just like a tool that you can utilize for Wi-Fi hacking, like rogue access points and man in the middles and all that stuff. And literally, like, I put it up, and remember, I didn't know anything about YouTube, right? So I just put how to hack, like the word hack. So I guess like 5 years ago, it was like, this is a no-go. And I guess now as time goes on and YouTube's getting a little more mature and content is not getting flagged as much, at least in this community, I haven't heard much of, since Zeta 2, our boy, kudos to him for the next journey of his life. And I'm like, man, since he left Google, I'm like, man, I haven't had to use him for a while. But yeah, it's just like, it's interesting that, I was so discouraged. I was like, this is not for me, and I'm not going to do this. And, because when you get a strike, have you got any strikes on your channel?
Somehow I have gone through unscathed. I haven't gotten any of the, YouTube taking down a video. I haven't gotten any crazy copyright strike, but hey, that is not a challenge. No one needs to, don't try to pull the trigger on me here.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's cool. And I guess once you learn how to word your stuff, it's definitely like a benefit, because that's what I had to learn. And, but yeah, so that's that. And I wanted to, obviously, some people, we'll get to the questions. Usually I wait till the last 15 minutes to do that. But I saw some people talk about the OSEE. Is it something, have you considered that? I see you said that you revisit it.
Yeah. So for extreme crash course speed run, look, I had applied to do the on-site training over at Black Hat. You need to sit in Las Vegas for the week-long course to prep for Offensive Security's Exploit Expert course, which is their highest top tier certification. You need to go through the advanced Windows exploitation course, which is breaking out of virtual machines and exploiting hypervisors and doing the VM escape. Actually compromising browser internals, the V8 engine, core shit. So it's super duper wizardry, low level binary exploitation, reverse engineering shenanigans. I had gone through the course, but in 2020, it was canceled because of COVID. In 2021, it was canceled because they were only doing online trainings and they weren't doing the course in person. And then once we got there for 2023, and actually finally, after waiting 2 years to take this thing, they said, the exam's not going to be ready because we're redesigning everything. So it was like, okay, comes 2023. It's been like 4 years I've been waiting for this thing. And like, I don't know if I've got the momentum anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2024 rolled around. Now it's 2025. It's like that thing sat in the corner, and I don't think I'm that sharp on it. And I don't know if I need to pursue it because I'm not going to lie to you. I don't do any of that for a day job. But you're gosh darn right. It would be pretty cool. It would be pretty neat. I'd love to add myself to that little accolade lineup there. So it has entered my mind. I was thinking maybe I should get back in that because I think the certification game is fun. And I felt like that was a lot of my upbringing and some of my roots. Like people really enjoyed a lot of the OSC3 or OSCE3 things.
Yeah.
So maybe. It's all a matter of time, but I am at negative time already. So
yeah, 1,000%. And yeah, I wanted to definitely talk about like certifications and touch on that. We touched on it. We probably touched on it a lot. So like, obviously I saw HackTheBox and, cool. Like I love HackTheBox stuff. Like I was saying, like that's a, little bit of my goals this year is to be pro hacker, maybe even a lead hacker. Who knows, right? The sky's the limit. It all depends on, like you said, time is against me as well with work and life and everything like that. So, because obviously you sat the CPTS, I think we talked about this last year, since you were like, moving around, will you ever consider that or say, screw that, I want to go for the CAPE exam?
Oh, you're right. I have some good friends who've been going through a whole lot of the HackTheBox Academy courses and material, and someone who just sat for CDSA, I think the defensive one.
Yeah.
And he did not cross the finish line, unfortunately, but we'll be taking it up again. But I think that would be neat and interesting to have something a little bit more blue team, a little bit more defense oriented, or a little bit more, hey, closer to, again, what I do for the day job. But while that day job leans in and out of red team versus blue team detections and threat hunting and malware analysis, or do we understand how this vulnerability and exploit really works? So I don't know. I feel like I straddle the line. Maybe, I don't know if I would do CPTS again, unless someone twisted my arm. I think I would put OSEE higher than that on my priority list.
Fair
but
enough.
If I were to dabble and tinker and play, I'm curious more of the blue team end of things, I think, not going to lie.
Nice.
How about you? If I may ask you, I don't know, is there anything you're chasing?
Yeah. And I think I may go after the CAPE exam.
Nice.
And because I did in 2024, I did the CBBH and the CPTS, and I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And just like yourself, right? Every day, all day, I'm not pen testing, and it's like, I did it. And I say this with all my heart. Like, I love learning stuff. I like to speak to others that ask me questions. Like if someone asks me, you recommend the OSEP? I don't know. I never took it. So I'm not gonna give, what I read on the internet, any advice on that, because that's not my personal experience, right? So that's the reason why I enjoy taking these exams. I learn something, and then I can convey this to the next person. Like, if you're looking to get into offensive security, this is the real deal. Like when I went to, I love Heath, I love TCM security, but when I went to theirs, I felt like, if you get that, yeah, you get the whole gamut of debriefing and all that stuff, but there was some missing pieces of the puzzle to really do some of the techniques, at least from when I learned in the CPTS. You took the CPTS, yeah, like you said, you didn't make it through the finish line, but if you compare that to PMPT, it's really hard to compare the two. So yeah, I think maybe the CAPE exam, because that's more like AD driven, and I enjoy Active Directory. I enjoy doing that. And then there's two other exams I would like to learn more about cloud pen testing. So maybe from Altered Security, do the CRTP, and then the CARTP. I want to talk to him over there and see if I can, see what I can find out. But yeah, those are ones I would really enjoy. Obviously, watching your video. I think when you were talking about what's the doctor's name for the not AD and AD Essentials.
Oh, Dr. Nestori. Yeah, Dr. Azure AD is
Yeah.
kind of his handle, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then when you and it's a bummer because I think just before we got on last year, they eliminated that sandbox environment. You know how you set up that test environment?
Yeah. I was so heartbroken. Like the M365 developer program.
Yeah, the
to be able
developer
to spin up
program.
a sandbox. Yeah, it
Yes,
sucks
sir.
that's gone. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and because the only thing it's a bummer is like, now we have to put out credit card information. It's like, my dumbass will like forget and get charged, and I'm like, sorry. So that's why I never really went that route. But yeah, those two, those three, but it's more for just learning sake. And so I wanted to touch on that. So what is your take for like maybe like the new folks that, from last year to this year that are tuning in, your take on certifications? Do you feel as though like, okay, you went to the not, you don't have the OSEE yet, but like to the OSW, whatever the fuck it is, OSWE, OS, whatever 3, do you feel like that's necessary in order for you to get a position in cyber? Because like, as you say, as you convey all the time, like you're not a pen tester, right?
Yeah.
So do you consider yourself more a blue teamer at heart, or what are you, John?
Oh no, identity crisis, right? Like, I think for funsies, I play a little bit more with the vulnerabilities, the exploits, the living off the land, the tradecraft, how hackers could do what they do. But I will poke and play with malware and kind of understanding, hey, even like script-based living off the land stuff. I know that's kind of kiddie. It's not in hardcore IDA or Ghidra or disassembly and debugger stuff. But look, that's the stuff that is used. So I feel that pulls me a little bit more blue team, but I will say I'm not writing Splunk queries or trying to do threat hunting across a seam all too often.
Like
just
Yara rules and all this stuff. Yeah.
Truth be told, I wish I could explore more of that, but it feels hard to chip in and break into that end of it. Without a little bit of infrastructure, it's hard to actually practice and play with that. However, just hacking training has a really cool constructing defense course where you have that full environment. But I digress. I feel like I lost track of your question, though.
Yeah, no sweat. It was more like, so if someone's trying to come up in the game, I think my ADD got me off track too. But like, as like a new folks, a new person, new folks in the
certifications.
Yeah, the certifications. Like, what would be? I know it's been a few years since you've taken one, right?
Yeah.
Since, there's a two-part, like, what is that? And do you feel as though like right now in your career, how do I ask this? Like, as time goes on, do you feel it's necessary for someone to get certifications if they have like 15 years experience in cyber, like NomeSec, right? Like he doesn't have one certification, the kid's a killer, right?
Yeah.
So what's your take on like certifications as a whole?
Okay. So forgive me again if I'm rambling or long-winded answer, but I have kind of had this like 3-tier mentality for a long time with certifications, all progressing through time, right? Like I think at the very, very first early beginning days when someone is getting into cybersecurity, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty alluring to like, oh, can I get a cert? Can I get a certification? Some little stamp and some thing that'll be able to say, yeah, I can prove and validate my merit and competency. So that's when I was like, yeah, I'd love to chase and go after a couple of these so that I can land a job. And then the question that normally comes from there is like, is it necessary to have a certification to get a job? I think short answer is no. It is possible to get a job without a certificate, depending on where you go, or certification depending on what you're doing, depending on the level of expertise, the people there, the trust, anything. There are a lot of variables. So it's possible that you don't need one. But I will say it can help. Like it will add to your likelihood and the probability if you can add a little bit more to your resume. That's not to say it's gosh darn absolutely almighty necessary, but if it can help you run rather than crawl and walk, hey, it's pretty
Mhm.
cool. So the secondary tier, I think, is when you've landed your job, when you're doing stuff, when you're happy, and when you're just like, I want to learn more. I want to improve and I want to get better, even if it's not necessary because I've landed the job that I want. In which case, you could keep exploring and you'll take some certifications and you'll add them to your list and you'll collect them like Pokemon cards. I'll admit, that's what I did. Not going to lie.
Yep. I did the same. Yep.
So when you get to tier 3 in my mind, at that point, you're like, I'm good. Like, I'm doing my job. I love it. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm content. I don't need anything else. And maybe I don't need to go chase a shiny cert. For better or for worse, I don't know if that's the procedure. I don't know if that's the evolution, but I think that's where I'm at right now. And that's why I have not pushed myself to go for OSEE after 3 or 4 years it took to be able to even have the opportunity to do that. I'm like, I got other stuff to do right now and I'm busy doing those things.
No, fair. And I want to like bring up a topic that I see it around the interwebs. I talk to people at conferences, privately, friends and stuff like that, about mentorships, right? Or about coaching, whatever the word you want to call it. So what is your take, like, and I'll answer it next. Like, what is your take on the whole, mentoring and paid mentorships or, free mentorships? Like, what is your take about that?
Super good question. I don't think that I have ever gotten a mentor or asked for a mentor personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I don't know. I would not be able to ask someone aloud and say, will you be my mentor? It just, I don't know. It doesn't compute in my brain. Obviously what I try to do with YouTube is to just, hey, share the education and mentor en masse. But when folks maybe ask me, hey, John, can you be my mentor? Or can you stay with me to help do a couple things? Hey, we can touch base each night. And like, I'm really sorry. It's just not feasible.
Fair enough.
But I think there are people in my life that I consider mentors, but I've never asked them with like a formal unspoken handshake relationship of, will you be my mentor? I think realistically, they're just people that I admire. I think they're people that I respect and I look up to in the industry. And I consider them a mentor because when they communicate with me, they give me sage advice and wisdom and guidance because I trust their opinion and their suggestions. I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like that's a long-winded answer, but look for those people that you just like, dang, they're super cool. I consider them my mentor, but I don't think I could go walk up to them and say, look, will you be my mentor? They just already are.
Yeah. And I can relate. And then I want to add on to that. Yeah. You answered my question, but there's another part to that. But like, I totally get it because Keith Barker, I make it very, very clear. You know Keith, right? You ever heard of Keith? So like, he was my mentor without him being my mentor, right? Like I started watching actually I pirated his CBT Nugget videos, but I told him that it was so funny. But then, when I was able to make a few bucks, I was able to pay it. So like, I loved the way that he taught. It was very simple. And then I had the privilege of calling him a friend now, right? Like I can call him up tomorrow or tonight and say, hey, what's up, Keith? So like having that support system is definitely, and I'm the same way. I never said, hey, Keith, can you be my mentor? It was just like by default, right? It's just like it happened. But next part of my question is like having like a calendar or having something like that and having some like profitable thing. And you answered it sort of because you're like, okay, like I don't have the time right now. That's, I just don't have the time. So even if you pay me $1 million, the time is not permitted. But what is your take? Not on you. I'm not saying like on you at this moment. This is why I'm saying like this is like a segue. Like other people, like myself or what's his face, Kevin or KevTech. Everyone knows him. Like, or I don't know who else does this kind of stuff. Whoever else, like, what is your take on that? Because I like to get your perspective, and I'll give you mine. I just want to know, from the people in the community that ask for a couple of bucks to talk to you and get your guidance or whatever you want to, whatever it's however you want to allocate that time.
It's hard because you say like, I don't want to hear about you, what you would do, because I would not do it personally.
Yeah.
I feel like the monetary charge there makes it hard because there is then like a value amount strapped to it. And it's weird of like, oh, realistically, you're a person and your time is valuable. Your time is worth money no matter what you're doing. So if you're out of the goodness of your heart, making yourself available with Calendly, Google Calendar, schedule a meeting, get an appointment, blah, blah, blah. Like, I agree. It makes sense. Yeah, without a doubt, you could be compensated. I don't know if I would charge an egregious amount. I don't know if that's the right move or the call. It feels a little grimy, but if you do it for free, I know it's not all that enticing. But at the same time, okay, you charge money for it. There's nothing wrong with that. If someone goes to this thing, realizes, oh, that was not worth it, I'm not doing that again, and then they don't.
Exactly.
Then the value of, again, how much are you charging? What is the price point? What is blah, blah, blah. A lot of nuance that's too complex for my mind, so I just retract.
Fair. And I love that. And that's the same way. And I wanted to ask you that because you're at a way of a different level than like myself, or even Kevin, or whoever else is doing this, right? Like I'm saying that not like your audience, right? You have a larger audience. and I would always, elaborate on that. So for me, because I didn't think about that in a million years. I skateboarded my whole life. I bowled. I love to do lessons. I love to teach people how to do whatever I'm decent at. And where I had a hard time was, I have a child. I have a family. If I'm sitting here dedicating an hour of my time and I get stood up, I'm going to be livid, know?
Oh, that's true. Good
so,
call.
Yeah. So what happened with me, and if anyone, because I've heard a few things, and this is the reason why I do it. I don't even do it, but I do it. I just have it out there. If someone does it, but then whatever, we'll go with the deal. But for me, it was like all the time. And even I did it with Tyler Ramsey, right? I'm like, hey man, I can dedicate 3 hours a week, and during these times, I don't have my dog, whatever the case may be, I'm free. And literally, and this was free again, and no one shows up. And I'm like, and I would go into Discord, hey guys, or, do you know anyone, do you know who this is? This person, can you at least let me know if you're not showing up? So when you get stood up, it does leave a stamp on you. And that's when I was like, you know what, screw this. You're going to pay if you pay and you don't show up, you lost your money. You know what I mean? So, because my time, if I'm dedicating a time, even you right now, right? You're dedicating an hour of your time. You could be with your family. You can be doing something else, and you're dedicating this to hang out with my dumbass, right? So, that's what I think people don't get. They don't see they don't see it from that perspective, right? I'm dedicating my time, and it's oh, fuck it, it's free. So I don't, if I have to stay at the grocery store, I don't have to let him know. He'll just close the call. But I just said, hey guys, hey, my little daughter, Daddy's going to be busy for 1 hour because I have some work to do. And now you don't show up. People don't take that in consideration. And so I just wanted to get your perspective, and that's my perspective. That's why I started, you know what, even if it's a few dollars, whatever, you're going to pay for it. And if you don't show up, you lost your money. If you do show up, we get to chat, So, yeah.
Oh, I know we're venting together, and I don't know if this is the most fun thing for the audience listening in, but if I can dance with it for a little bit, if this conversation topic isn't too insufferable for people listening, I think there are two things that I would squeeze in there.
Go for it.
Because you mentioned perspective, and obviously the conversation of money. I will take perspective, I think, first. And this is weird, off the tails of the Reddit thread, and the creator conversation of making content, blah, blah, blah. perspective is a thing that I always try to keep in the back of my mind whenever there is a hater or, again, something that's kind of grinding our gears and setting us off, just as we were talking about earlier. But I maybe I'm too rude, maybe I'm too abrupt and hostile, but I gotta think like, look, person XYZ, whoever is kind of stirring some stuff up, you don't know how this all happens. Like, you don't know the process of planning a thing, recording a thing, editing a thing, making a thumbnail for the thing, making the social for the thing, posting the thing, catering to that thing. You don't know if you've done that. If you haven't done that, you don't know how much time it takes. And if you haven't done the time for it 1,500 times over across 15 years, you don't know. So it's really hard for me to get some of the, not to say either constructive criticism or advice, because look, if you're going to complain about it, do it yourself, make it.
Exactly.
That's fine. Go ahead. So anyway, sorry, I don't want to get too rude.
No, I totally agree, John. Like, that's totally true. It's like, yeah, do it yourself. If you think it's so easy, and even with the, content creation, I guess this whole conversation was about our plans and shoot the smack. So, I think people just wanted to see us pretty smile, but yeah, I just think it's this interesting perspective, and I totally agree. I think that's super true, and yeah. So as far as then, we can segue into like maybe then wait two more minutes, and then we'll look at these questions. I wish Devin was here tonight to moderate.
Oh, bummer. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Devin's not here. But yeah, so like for CTFs, like I know you're a big CTF person. Like, do you plan? I don't. Maybe this is information that I don't know. But like, is it like? Because I know you were doing something with NumSec, right? Like you were like doing some CTF thing on a platform. Like, is that still in the works? Like,
so yes, we have Hacking Hub as another fun venture, another exciting project. Hacking Hub was myself, Adam Langley, Ben Sedegapur, NumSec, and we also have Todd or Cooper helping out. I realized and realistically and kind of came to them, I think, with like a dog with my tail between my legs, like, guys, I feel like I'm already running ragged. I'd love to help support. I want to be here with you. This is an incredible mission, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to give as much as you all are given. So in my mind, I've always said, look, it's Ben's baby. It's Ben and Adam's baby, and they're crushing it. And I want to help be there with them and support. And that's, I think, what we're doing. But it is like, you're probably right. Like, hey, we got Huntress, we got Day Job, we got YouTube, we got that, we got Just Hacking Training, we got CTFs that we're hosting, and we like, this keeps growing, and I don't think I can fit it all on the plate anymore. So some stuff will reorganize, but without a doubt, still making sure that's happening, and we are crushing it.
Awesome. That's sick. So what is your? So do you still do HackTheBox? Like, are you still on there active and hacking away, or?
Sort of, kinda. I have tackled a couple of the Sherlocks, the like digital forensics ones. A couple of my friends, again, they're enjoying a lot more of the blue team track with them. So we just did, I think, a simple, what was it? It was Pikachu. It was the one that was going over my CAPTCHA fish scam, which was silly. But I've also done one of the HackTheBox challenges. I think it was Slippery was the name of it, or Stylish. Stylish was the name of it, which was very, very cool CSS tricks. So still trying to squeeze it in whenever I can. I don't think I've tackled a box in a long time, but definitely the challenges and the Sherlocks for sure.
And what are your favorite challenges?
I do enjoy either finding a new trick or a way to do a vulnerability, or hey, seeing something that sounds kind of cookie cutter, like, oh, folks know what cross-site scripting is. Oh yeah, I know what SQL injection is, duh. But oh, can you show me some cool syntax, or can you show me something that works only in this niche obscure scenario? I'm like, oh, that's awesome, let me add it to my little goodie bag of collections. I really have fun when it's either something novel or new, even if it's just novel or new to me. So
yeah, cool. And the last question, then we'll look at these questions. Have you ever tinkered with phone labs?
Yeah. Way back when, they had a lot of virtual machines available. Is that right?
Because there's Vuln Hub and then there's Vuln Labs.
Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry. Vuln
So,
Labs is still.
whoop, I think he, whoops, John X'd out, or I don't know what happened to John. Thanks, Glenn, for the, yeah, see, I'm running out. I'm going low on my tea. Let's see, John, if he comes back. Restream has killed me. Yeah. There he goes. And hopefully he'll be back in a second. So we'll wrap up and we'll see what else is cooking. But, well, here we go. Here goes John.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no sweat. Yeah, so yeah, Vuln Labs is like I think it's a lot of Windows stuff. It's like all Windows. But awesome. Yeah, so we have like 10 minutes. So just wanted to see, let's see what questions are in here. Go to the top. You know, I don't really, if there's something that you see, John, like that sticks out, just let me know. And so what are your thoughts on, oh, I guess I saw you were at settling training. I think you answered that, right, John?
I might have. Which one was that? I'm so sorry.
This one. What are your thoughts on DEATHcon?
Yeah, so I had responded to that within text. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there is a very, very cool conference called DEATHcon. And I know that sounds silly, but it's the Detection Engineering and Threat Hunting Conference.
Okay.
They are more, I think, virtual friendly, or like virtual first, online and remote first, but have now on-site locations in like 3 different spots, I think all over the world, which is kind of neat and very cool. But the gimmick is there aren't really any talks. Like, it's not a conference where you listen to someone speak with the keynote or whatever, but the entire thing is workshops. And it's basically like workshop buffet. You can choose whatever one you want, or you can take them home. Like, you can get all the materials, you can get all the slides, you can get the whole lab exercise, everything in an environment, and just do it whenever you want. So it's phenomenal because they're all talking about, a lot more of that blue team tactical on the keyboard stuff of, can we write detectors for this new tradecraft or whatever TTPs we're seeing in the wild? Or can we go hunt for this across our SIEM solution? Detection engineering and threat hunting, DEATHcon, and I absolutely love it. I have a lot of good peers, colleagues, and friends that were presenting there this last year. And I am grateful for a lot of the organizers. They gave me some flack for the same reCAPTCHA fish. So just a great community. Absolutely would recommend DEATHcon.
Cool. Awesome. So this is the next one. Did you always do for the military? What kind of stuff did you do?
Sweet. Yeah. Hey, question about some of the origin story. I attended the U.S. Coast Guard Academy for my undergrad. So really there is Coast Guard, right? But I had been trying to get smart on more of the software development end of things, really, before I got to my undergrad for college, university, the academy. But getting and being really at a military school, it's very interesting because people will say, oh, hey, it's cool that you made this thing. I'd like that you can write code and put together software, but can anyone break it? Like, is it vulnerable? Does it have any weaknesses? Is it battle tested? Is it ready for war or whatever the heck? So that is what introduced me to the whole wide world of cybersecurity with vulnerabilities and exploits and that whole end of it. So no, I think you're right. I think that is the cutoff. Still tech, still cybersecurity, or still programming and software beforehand, but security around that timeline.
Gotcha. Sweet. Let's see what other. Because John's about to go out again. I saw his Elgato flicker.
Oh no!
So I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Round 2. All right. So we don't want no negativity here. So let's keep going. HackTheBox, kudos. John, will you be at the Wild West Hacking Fest? Oh, let me put this up. Mile height.
I'll be there without a doubt. Okay. Very, very excited for that one. How about you? Are you going?
No, in February?
Yeah.
No, actually, I have a conflict with that week. I'm going to New York for something. I wanted to go, but yeah, see you in the next one. Oh, did they reach out to you for B-Side Pennsylvania?
Which B-Sides?
In Romania.
Oh, I don't know how realistic I could make that one happen this year, truth be told.
Yeah. I think Ryan's going out there.
Cool.
Yeah, Ryan,
That's
I think
awesome.
is the keynote speaker, I think.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So OSWE is the only answer for John. David, what's up, Dave? There he goes again. His thing went out. So maybe he just is once he gets back, we'll wrap up. I don't know if there's anything else that that's here. Let me see. Here we go.
Dude,
John's
what is going on? What? I'm sorry. I guess I'm not meant to be here on your stream.
Yeah. So what do you? Yeah, I guess maybe it's your. Let's see. Another. He's gone. Yeah, he gone, but he back. All right. So let's see if anything else, and then if you have any other last words. And rather be looking for blah, blah, blah. I don't think there's anything really off the. I was waiting for this. Yeah, D. I'm glad you're here. It's awesome seeing you. You guys are mentioning. Thank you so much, TG. Let's see. Thank you, Glenn, for my crack. Green tea is my crack. And
I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, because I don't drink alcohol. You know, I never, I never drank alcohol. So everyone always said, like, when Glenn came over, you know, he's helping us fix, because when he comes over, he drinks all the green teas. So
Gotcha.
But yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I guess that. Oh, cool, Kev. Thank you. Cheers for that. Yeah, the Rangers are playing. I wonder how they're doing. So yeah, well, live broadcast, exactly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, like, any other last words, you know, of wisdom, anything you want to share? Yeah, go for it, and then we'll wrap this baby up.
Well, I absolutely 1,000% do not want to be a commercial. I'm trying my darndest to not be a giant advertisement and shill. But I am very, very genuinely excited about a lot of the Just Hacking training work that we've got kind of cooking up. I think there are phenomenal people that are really trying to help build that in a better, stronger, faster way than I ever could. Some of the folks behind the scenes, Don Donzel, I think might be a good community member that folks are aware of. He is helping put those jetpacks on. I was trying to allude to that earlier. We're really going to get some lighter fuel there and keep it cruising. But with that said, tomorrow, if I may say, we have a cool little live stream that maybe, I don't know, would be entertaining to you, Pat, because it's some of the Active Directory world with Slavi Parpulev. He's one of the instructors from, I think, even way back at HackTheBox, that covered a lot of Active Directory and the fine-tooth comb going through an understanding to help master that domain. So, like, get the raw nitty-gritty on credentials, understand how the protocols all come together, and then synthesize that to make for the actual tradecraft and attack. So I, for one, am very excited to hang out with him tomorrow. And if anyone is interested in tuning in, I would love to see you there. But justhackingtraining.com or justhacking.com.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll check that out and tune in and see what's up. And yeah, I thank you so much. And hopefully until 2026, maybe we'll have you on again. Much love for everything you do, dude. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one, folks.
Great seeing you, Pat. We'll keep in touch.